We interact with their products every hour of every day. Amazon, Apple, McDonald's. These trillion-dollar empires feel like a permanent part of the landscape, as if their rise from a garage to global dominance was a direct, inevitable result of their own brilliance. But the view from the consumer aisle is a curated perspective. Behind the sleek storefronts and polished keynotes lies a history of screaming matches, blind panic, and decisions that nearly ended everything before it began. The version of corporate history taught in high school is scrubbed clean. It follows a linear path of visionary founders who never made a wrong move, skipping the moments where the entire structure was about to buckle. To understand the modern world, we have to look at the files they left out of the syllabus. The desperate midnight pivots and the quiet boardroom betrayals are the actual events that forged these monopolies. Those illuminated logos aren't monuments to constant success. They are masks covering the volatile, high-stakes gambles that the public was never supposed to see. Take Apple. Today, they dictate the pace of global technology, but wind the clock back to August 1997, and the company was peddling clunky beige boxes that the market had already moved past. This graph tracks their operational cash reserves during that period. Their spending was outstripping their revenue so aggressively that by the third quarter of 1997, they were exactly 90 days away from total bankruptcy. Inside Cupertino, the boardroom was in a state of sheer panic. It took that absolute desperation, staring at the abyss, to force them into a deal to take a $150 million lifeline from their biggest rival, Microsoft. Apple's modern dominance was built on the terrifying realization that they were 3 months away from closing their doors forever. Survival, not genius, was their first breakthrough. On the other side of that desperation is the danger of winning too much. In the late 90s, Blockbuster held a monopoly over home entertainment. They had thousands of stores, millions of members, and walls stacked with VHS tapes that generated billions in late fees. In the year 2000, a small startup called Netflix secured a meeting in Dallas. They offered to handle Blockbuster's digital strategy and sell their entire company for $50 million. Blockbuster's leadership laughed them out of the room. Their current model was so profitable that the executives were blinded to the incoming digital shift. They chose to protect their immediate cash flow rather than invest in a mail-order startup they didn't think mattered. That single arrogant dismissal triggered a systemic collapse. As internet speeds increased, Blockbuster's massive retail footprint became an unbearable debt. In a few years, the entire physical network imploded. Market dominance is a fragile state. Often, the very traits that build a massive empire are the exact vulnerabilities that cause its destruction. Sometimes an empire lasts because its public identity hides its true business model. McDonald's presents itself to the world as a massive product-first burger operation. The internal corporate architecture is built on a different foundation. McDonald's functions as the largest real estate holding company on the planet. The corporate entity buys prime commercial land and leases it to franchisees at marked-up rates. Franchisees risk selling food, while corporate guarantees income through rent. The results are clear. Revenue from food royalties is dwarfed by billions generated from leasing property. This strategy involves snapping up tens of thousands of high-value commercial corners across the globe, creating a land portfolio that few governments can match. Corporate longevity is rarely about the products sold at the counter. It is about the hidden financial engine operating beneath the surface. Corporate history is not a clean upward trajectory. It is a chaotic series of near deaths, arrogant blunders, and hidden mechanics that the public is taught to ignore. This frantic activity on the trading floor is the market reacting to the variables that actually dictate survival, the cash burn rates and real estate yields that polished PR narratives omit. Every interaction with a global brand is an encounter with a survivor of these internal wars. The monoliths we rely on are held together by the same high-stakes compromises that narrowly saved Apple from bankruptcy. Every week, we investigate the boardroom betrayals and billion-dollar decisions behind history's boldest founders. Subscribe now, because the official story is a curated myth, and the reality is the only way to understand how the world actually works. Welcome to 1 Minute Empires.